Hi everyone, Jared here. Time for the market video update. Before we get started, I just want to give you guys a quick little preview. There's been a few changes to the website, allaboutpips.net. We'd love to have any new visitors come check it out. I've had several questions and inquiries about the group and so on, so I've added this About Us area that talks a little bit about the group, and more fully, we discuss the details here in Join the Group, where you can also get a free 5-day trial to join us in the group and see what we do and see how things go, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Some contact information and just some other details there. So hopefully you'll have a chance to stop by the website. It's allaboutpips.net. We'd love to have you. Okay, getting on to things. We have had a crazy, wild, wonderful last 24 hours. The market has moved very, very big. We've had just lots of pips. We're over 300 pips profit for this week, and it's about Thursday. It's just been a great week with so much good movement. We've seen that the Dow is back down here. We've got about an 80-point down day on the Dow. S&P got hammered as well. Gold is way down. Oil is way down. Everything's taken a hit, and the dollar has been the benefactor of all of that. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment here. We've had a lot of news today. Retail sales came out worse than expected for the UK, and that really smashed the pound dollar and put it lower, as well as we got some Chinese news that's not looking so good, and the euro has kind of gotten shaky from that as well. And then we had Draghi speak today, and that was always eventful. Coming into tomorrow, the last bit of news that we have is home sales, new home sales, and we have the CPI for Canada, so that's a little bit of a mover. Here's something interesting real quick. The dollar index, with as big of movement as we've seen towards dollar strength, excuse me, we haven't seen the dollar index move that big. This is the daily chart on the dollar index, and as you guys remember yesterday's video and the video on the day before, we had the dollar index sitting at about 79, kind of 70, 80, and it's just up just a little bit, 79.95, not really too big. If we go down to the 5-minute chart, we can see that it did give us a little bit of a spike, but then it's just kind of back down. So that just makes me a little bit suspect, and we've got to be kind of careful with some of these movements, because with the dollar index not advancing as much, I think these movements are kind of the new trend and some of the new direction, but just be careful. There's still plenty of room for pullback because of that soft dollar index. Okay, looking at our euro dollar real quick here, this was our trend line, and I posted the screenshots and everything on Facebook and in the chat, and you can go back and look at yesterday's videos. But we had a sell in the notes last night for 132.10. With a target of 131.50, and as you can see, there's 132.10 and there's 131.50. We grabbed just about every bit of that movement. That was a great 60 pip run in the UK session last night, and everything just behaved and ran absolutely beautifully. So very, very nice pips there. We've got a nice head and shoulders pattern on this 1-hour chart, and we've got a big trend line breaking on this 1-hour chart as well. Now, going back to this real quick on our 4-hour chart, we can see that 13300. I've talked about this all week long being a pretty important level. If the market gets above that, we're probably up for some bigger movement, but it didn't. Once again, it's failed off 13300, and it looks like we're going to start to see some bigger downward movement. So what are we going to look for in the meantime for the immediate movement? We've got a nice little ascending trend line right here, and I think if this euro dollar, it's currently sitting just a little bit above 131.80. It's about 81, 82, kind of just hopping around there. Until it gets below about 2/below about 131.70, we need to be careful and probably stay out of this. But below this little short-term resistance support that we can see right here, I think we're going to have a nice continuation for a sell-off. So I'm going to be looking for some sell entries around 131.70 to take the euro back down into these lows of about 131.40, 45. We're going to be looking for about 30 pips or so on that run. And like I said, I think this could be the start of a slightly larger movement. So or a continuation, because that was kind of the start there. So 131.70, we'll look for some sell opportunities. I don't know if I will be buying this pair. I may not. I'm not totally convinced on a buy entry. Potentially something very short term here, above some of these highs right here, about 13200. I would consider a short term buy. So 13200 on the upside. I think we can probably get 15 or 20 or 25 pips maybe on the high end out of this pair. So again, above 13200, short-term buying opportunity. Below 131.70, we should have a short-term sell opportunity. Pound dollar doing kind of the same thing for us. We had on the pound dollar, we had a sell entry at 158.50, and you can see there's 158.50 right there with a target of 158.00. You do the math, nice 50 pip run, and it even went a little bit further, about 80 pips, but nice 50 pip run, and that was also posted in the notes last night for the members only. And we had a little bit of details in here for the daily video yesterday, but the members only area really gets some extra kind of notes for that UK session and some really specific entries. And so we saw between the euro dollar and pound dollar 110 pips in profit from our entries. So it went really, really well. Now, the pound dollar, same kind of situation as this euro dollar here. It's failing off these upper levels, 159.00. You can see that we've got a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern now on the on the 1 day chart, and it's still staying nicely within this downward channel here. So it's just testing and testing and testing and really just staying very well on that channel on the downside. So for the immediate, a couple of things that I think we need to look for. This pound dollar below 158.00, I think we have a nice little sell opportunity. That's about 158.00 right there. It's going to get us below the trend line and get us going. So 158.00, I think we can take it into these lower areas of 157.75 and even 157.70. So there should be 25 to 30 pips on the downside there. Now, if the pound dollar continues to retrace and give us just a little bit of upward movement, as we can see, it continues to kind of fail off this level right here, which is about 158.20. Now, I put 30 on here just so that we stay out of the chop, but this high right here is actually 158.20. So again, 30 to kind of stay out of the chop there. So if we get above about, if we get to about 158.30, I think we'll have a short-term buy opportunity of probably about 20 pips into about 158.50. So keep an eye on that. Otherwise, we're going to look to sell this below 158 and below 158.00. So keep an eye on those levels. Quick little look. I don't like trading this euro yen really at all, but it's worth having a quick peek at. Big top out right here at about 111.50. Came off it like crazy for a couple of months. Ran all the way back up to 111.50, and it's way off it once again. We can see that it hit that level perfectly, and it's almost 300 pips off that. So I'm watching this trend line, and there may start to be some interesting sell opportunities on this euro yen, but I'm not ready to jump into anything just yet on that one. It's been making some nice little runs down, and some of these shorter term time frames have given us some good entries there. I don't trade it much unless there's really big opportunity, and so that's one thing we're keeping an eye on. Aussie dollar, here's our trend line from yesterday. You can see that Aussie dollar ran like a son of a gun as well, about 100 pips. And just some really, really good movement there. The Aussie dollar is coming into some pretty strong support right here, which is right where it's at. So I'm not getting ready to go bullish on this at all by any means, but I think we could see a little bit of retracement. So watch for some 1 hour crossover activity and watch for a break of this little descending trend line right here. You can see that this guy's just kind of been heading down and making some runs and doing its thing. So if we can get a little bit of a break of that and get this back up into some of these areas here with just a little bit of retracement, I think that'll open the doors for a very, very nice run down. So nothing too specific on that one, just kind of looking for some retracement and going from there. 1665 held very nicely on gold, and then we saw some big movements last night in the UK session, and then some bigger retracement, or some big-ish retracements here in the US session. But gold is now below. Remember, this was our 1640 area, and we wanted to get gold below that, and it made a nice little run below that and made some new short-term lows as well. You can see those right here. So it looked like we were starting to have a double bottom, and it's just started to get a little bit lower. Now, one thing I'm keeping an eye on is this descending trend line, because as we start to get some little double bottoms here, I wouldn't be surprised to see gold recover quite a bit and get back above this descending trend line and maybe test that 1665 once again. So just kind of look for that. It's bounced pretty hard off that low, so we might see some of that trend line breaking. So keep an eye on those levels there. But congratulations, guys. We all had some very, very great pips. For anybody that would like to see how our trading group runs and what we do, just go to the website allaboutpips.net, and you can go to join our group and get a free 5-day trial in there. Free 5-day trial. So best of luck, guys. We'll see you in the chat, and keep the pips coming.